Very good to see you. I think we met briefly last holidays when Tana came to town for her show because
Oh, in New York?
her. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was fun.
So I know you've worked with her on her music and just, she says just the best things about you. So really great to have this one-on-one time with you. How have
Yeah.
you been during quarantine?
Um. Uh. Truly, to be just honest, like busier than ever. As far as like work life, like yeah, I've been busier than ever. I've been the trajectory of my career being I really love to um creative direct and shoot videos and photographs and all these things for other artists. I love to be behind the lens for a lot of things and help other artists paint their picture. So I got to do a lot of that in the last couple of months, and like the trajectory of my own career and what I do for other people, like meeting up at the same time is just like such a blessing. So I've just been pushing myself harder than ever. I mean, like taking this time to, get to the root of all these things that can create like the best me. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, really focused on trying to do that right now.
For sure. So tell me about your new single, Karma, and what fans can expect from it.
Okay, so this is like Mod Sun energy encapsulated in a song, essentially. One thing, if for anyone out there, I kind of pride myself on having a great live performance. I'm a really like energetic live performer. I've been doing this for literally half my life being on stage. So I've worked at it to get there. But everyone has always been like, man, if you could capture that energy that you put off on stage, if you could capture that onto a song, like that would be the mod song that I truly want. You know what I'm saying? And that's been said to me for a decade almost. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very challenging thing to do that. But I found a way. I honestly found a way, and I really focused on actually doing that more than anything. A typical song for me, up until the last year, I've really been focused on the biggest focal point of my songs in the last year and a half or so have been to do that, to capture energy, and not so specifically trying to just tell this story and be so artistic. Like I have a special energy and I'm aware of that. So I'm just trying to put that down on record. And I found a way to do it. I mean, part of it might be the fact that like I'm a born drummer. That was my first instrument. Like I was in like really big rock bands and emo bands and all that shit when I was a kid. Travis Barker was my absolute hero still to this day. But like when I was a kid, my whole walls were covered in Travis Barker. Like I was a fucking drummer. So, dude, I'm playing drums on my new album and on this new song. And I never have done that. I've never played drums on a Mod Sun song until now. It took me 10 years to do it. Yeah, which is just like a beautiful thing that I finally got to do that. But I think a big part of it is that like that element brings so much more energy to a song. And the way I play drums, I'm just like going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot has to do with that, like really, really bringing my absolute authentic self. Everyone talks about how the beautiful moments of like full circle moments and stuff like that. This truly is that. It's like where I started in music on drums and playing in like rock bands, emo bands, pop punk bands, in the scene, hardcore bands. That's all made its way back into my life again,
Do you feel like that's how you captured this like Mod Sun live performing energy, or how did you realize that you finally kind of had that sound in this song?
Truthfully, I think like one of the biggest breakthroughs that I've found is like I'm really not new to this sound. You know what I'm saying? I'm very true to this sound. I literally, when I say I came from the bands that made this whole scene, like I was in those bands, and there comes a point where like I didn't get love for being in those bands when I was younger. I actually got made fucking fun of, looking like this whole emo revival thing, looking like that in high school, that was not embraced at that time. Okay. So for it to be like an embraced thing now, it opened my eyes. But for the last like 8 years, like, I'm not gonna lie to you and say like I really don't like to say that I was like embarrassed of my past, because I do embrace my past and I love those things about it. But I was never like knowing how cool it was to be a part of that in my youth, because I didn't get love for doing that, you know? So now it's like the beautiful things that happen with Juice World and Lil Peep and people like that, that really embraced that whole era of music and kind of brought it to right now. I mean, bro, like that was, sorry for calling you bro. um, that was like really eye-opening to me, and it helped me realize how special my youth was, you know? But when I'm being honest, I think that's like I have no reason to try to like create this character anymore, try to look cooler than I am in front of you. So like, being honest, like I really didn't know how cool that shit was until other people started embracing it and being like, bro, you were in Scary Kids Scaring Kids or some shit like that. Like, that's fucking cool. And I'm like, it is? Because y'all used to tell me that I should quit and I was never gonna make it, like, you know? So it's a weird life now that it changed like that. But I mean, that's, yo, count your blessings, not your problems. And like, you know, I could think about a million reasons what could have held me back getting to here. But like, the one thing is like, it's a blessing that music made its way and it made a comeback. And now the vehicle that I can present this music is literally the most authentic me. You know, I had to work really hard to be a rapper or in the hip hop world. I had to do a lot of studying and a lot of research and like submersing myself into that scene at the age of like 18 or 19. I was submersed in emo pop punk music at the age of 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? From 12 to 18 years old, that's all I did. I was front row at Fall Out Boy's first show they ever played outside of Chicago. Okay. They played in Minnesota. I was front row. I sang that one song, the "Where is your boy tonight? I hope he is a gentleman." It starts a cappella. I'm front row singing it, and the whole band stops and they look over and they go, "How do you know this song?" Like, they were nothing yet. And so like, I'm just saying, I was there. I had the coolest mom in the world, man. My mom used to let me go to those shows when I was in high school, and she'd say, "Yo, I know you really want to make it in this, like, tell any of these bands they can stay at your house. They can stay at your house tonight. They can take over the crib. They can drink all the liquor she's got in the house. And I'm going to go to school the next day and my mom's going to be at work and they can go and stay in the house the whole day." So like, I really made a lot of friends and like got into that scene. So, I mean, that's the truest vehicle for me to present this music in the most authentic me, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I loved the punk rock. So I would go to Bamboozle through high school. Like, I was so into it. I love it.
So many people miss Bamboozle. You're like the second person who's
it.
brought that up to me recently.
Really? Oh my gosh. I would totally go back to Bamboozle and Warped Tour. Oh my God.
I know. Warped Tour ended 1 year too early. It's got to make a comeback. Kevin Lyman, we got to bring it back. We will.
I bet it will. So can fans expect an album soon after this release? Yeah, for sure.
Just plainly simple. Yes, 100% before the end of the year, there will be a brand new album. I have my name for it. It came to me finally. I obviously am going to say the cliche shit. I can't tell you right now, but it's iconic. I got it. It's coming. The whole album is done. And once this song comes out, Karma, my lead single from it, an amazing video is going to drop for that song. And then right after that, it's just going to be a continuous roll of music. You know, it's not going to be this giant space in between stuff. It's literally going to be like, the new Mod Sun era has started.
Yes. Now, tell me about this music video, highly anticipated, in collaboration with your good friend and longtime collaborator, MGK. Tell me about the video.
It's, this is, so the beautiful thing is this is like, I've shot, four videos for Machine Gun Kelly, and we're working on finishing the edit of this full-length movie that we just made. So I've done that for him multiple times now. And you know, Kel's obviously ushering in this brand new era of pop punk right now. He really, really has been a great voice for me to go to while making this album. And just for things like, yo, Kels, what song should I drop first? What should be my single? He's like, Karma. Karma's your fucking single, mod. I don't even want to hear you think twice about it. That's the best mod song you've ever made. That's your first single. So I'm like, say less, bro. And you know, like finally taking my finger off the pulse of everything, letting other people be like, bro, like I want the world. So this is the whole thing is like, Kels is my best friend. He's my absolute best friend for a decade now. We don't and we can't go a day without talking. You know what I'm saying? So like, he sees me in a very pure way. And I am going to be honest with you. I don't know how, like, I am not a quote unquote influencer. I don't know how to crack the code and show the world the truest me. I really don't with all this content. You know, I love taking photos. I love fashion. To show the true, authentic me, like that is a code that I have not cracked yet. I think I've gotten close here and there, but like it's fucking hard, man. You know, like social media is a monster, and like I really want to figure out how to show the truest me, the one that Kels enjoys every day, the one that he's like, bro, I see you and you are walking, living, breathing art, and I need the world to see you through my eyes, you know?
That's so.
And again, I'm like, say less. You're gonna shoot the video. He's like, let's roll reverse, bro. He's like, let's roll reverse. I'm gonna direct your video. And he came up with this treatment, and this is the most different creative process I've gone through to get something done. He has his own way of doing things, and I mean, I could have told you that years ago, but I mean, he is very hypercritical, specific, will gladly lose sleep over thinking about the perfect idea. You know, he's that kind of guy. And I'm just following it. I'm following his vision completely, because his main thing is like, Mod, you're a director. You direct amazing videos. You do your style of video. Why would I come into a Mod Son video and do anything that you would do?
Right.
Because there's no point. So he's like, I'm coming in, I'm doing something that you've never done. So, I mean, that's the biggest takeaway from what you will be seeing is it's like, it's a video like I've never done. And it's going to be, the whole idea of it is basically like, Mod, if we had to strip you of your cool clothes, your cool hair, your tattoos, your flashy, if we had to strip you of all that, how can we make the world love that person? You know, because there, you see so much before you get to meet my soul. You know what I'm saying? And he's so aware of that. He's aware of how much, you know, there's this great quote about the Statue of David. I don't know how I've come to this, but they asked them, they say, how did you make the Statue of David? And he goes, well, I just chipped away the pieces that weren't him. Right. So it's just a block of marble, and I just tried to chip away the pieces that weren't him. And that's what we're trying to do. It's chip away the pieces of Mod Son that aren't truly me, get down to the source, and really present that to the world with this new era.
Wow. I love
that. Actually came out kind of eloquent, not so much of word vomit.
It was beautiful. And
all right, I'm glad.
Would you say that the clothes, the tattoos, and this and that, are they not you, or they're just like how you're expressing yourself?
It's absolutely me. It's just a sensory overload in a way, you know?
Yeah,
it's like some people want to some people eat their food with no sauce. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like I'm like covered in sauce before you get to the food, you dig? So it's like it's really hard sometimes to get to the true taste of me because it's covered in so much. And like that person, I mean, look around my house, like it looks like a child lives in here, as you can see. Like I have a Christmas tree up and a bike hanging on the wall, and all this art looks like a child made it. And like that's me. But Kels believes that I've shown that person to the world over and over and over in all these mediums, my books and my art and my directing and my songwriting for other people and all that. I've showed it all. So let's get to just me, man. You know?
Is it hard for you? I've done a lot of interviews with songwriters, and I'm really interested in the songwriting process. And then when someone is an artist in their own right, is it hard to separate writing for Mod Sun versus writing for other people? Like, how do you kind of switch the brain on that?
You know, there's two ways to go about it. I think one tends to work the better than the other, but I think you have to go about it both ways sometimes. The best way to go about it for me is you literally, the biggest part about being a songwriter is you have to be fully removed from any idea of being embarrassed ever. You have to be like, I am so down to take being embarrassed over being silent in a room where my duty is to throw out ideas. I'm like the typical person that's like, dude, I will throw 10 at you to land one.
Yeah.
I will give you 10 fucking ideas just to land one. And I'm totally fine with that. So like I come in and when I am songwriting, I try to be a channel. First of all, like it all starts with me for like melody. So like for Bloody Valentine or something like that, the Machine Gun Kelly song, like that would start with like a mumble like, and you're just trying to find some shit, right? And then like then it changes a little bit and you'll be like, all right, like I really got to jump into this person's skin for a second. And that's when it does become fun to be a songwriter, because let me tell you, there are so many things that you would have loved to have said in your career that you would never dare say on your own songs. And it's not because you don't like believe in it. It's just like, there's just something so fun about not being yourself for a second, And so like writing like a song with Kels is like, I have to see the world through his eyes like that and know that, there's a really funny, here's a great story about that song, about Bloody Valentine. So like I was sitting there and I was like, the first one of the greatest things, Robert Smith from The Cure said, the first words of the song is the most important part. Okay. So we were going like this and I was coming up with melody, and I remember being like, what if it was like the situation just went bad? Situation just went bad. And he was like, cool, but fuck that. The simulation just went bad. And I was like, whoa, that's so Kels. I would have never said the simulation just went bad. But you know what's so fucking crazy is that like the world changed the second that song dropped.
Yeah.
Almost like, we went into this pandemic and there was riots in the streets and awakening and people fighting power to the people. And it was like, the simulation just went bad. It was like he called that one. And I would have never said something like the simulation just went bad. I would have said the situation just went bad. But what a fucking switch up of a first lyric of a song. Because right away you're like, someone just embraced that people think that we might be living in a simulation on a hit song, which I don't know if we've heard yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've heard a hit song where someone said like, are we living in a simulation? But we see that on the internet 1,000 times a day.
Right.
So it's like that brilliant back and forth. And then of course I'm just like, oh my God, that's it. So it's like coming outside of yourself and like meeting in the middle. So it's always really, I mean, that was just like an interesting moment, like of people coming together to make something like that. Awesome. But then like doing my own songwriting stuff, it's kind of the same process. I mean, I like to just be a vessel. Like, I've become reintroduced to faith in a big way in the last 2 years, like in my understanding, like, praying to God and stuff like that. One of my biggest things that I stayed in the studio in the last 2 years is I'm like, we're sitting there and we're about to do something and they're like, yo, Mod, you got any ideas? And I'm like, no, I'm going to let God speak. Like, I'm going to shut up and let God speak. Like, just put me in there and that's it, And that's kind of what helped me really capture the energy. But as a songwriter for myself and a songwriter for other people, that's kind of the line that I ride, is like, I'm a channel. I've done this for half my life. I have confidence in myself and I'm not afraid to be embarrassed. You put those things together and you're not going to walk out with nothing. You're never going to. You're always going to walk out with something. And, just like finally now getting like seal certificates and seal of approval from like a mass audience on like being a songwriter is just like, it's helped in my brain just get a little bit more redemption and being like, okay, Mod, like you're good. You're good, bro.
Yeah. Now you've teased working with MGK on Tickets to My Downfall, the musical. What's your involvement on the project? What can fans expect, and just how did this idea come to be?
Yo, so he just released, like, an article just came out. So I'm gonna talk about things that he said so I don't ruin anything here. Me and him, we wrote it. We wrote the script. It is a script written, whole musical. I guess he put these dots together of how it came to be, which I just realized I think is probably it. The full story is this. He calls me up, and he rented this house in the hills, and he calls me up. He's like, yo, Mod. He's like, yo, I got this house for the weekend. Come over. We're just gonna chill, relax. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, cool. I get there, and he's like, yo, we gotta write a movie. He's like, we gotta write a movie for my album. And I'm like, oh, relaxing time. All right, cool. So, like, my brain works very differently than, I would say, a lot of people that I've met, but I'm this kind of person. I tear out pieces of paper from my journal, and I just write down ideas, slap them on the wall, throw them on the floor. I need to be surrounded with it, right? And so he's like, yo, we got to write this movie for my album. Like, we're going to turn it into like a true movie. And we started being like a rock opera or like something like along those lines. And so our brain starts working. Later that night, we're staying at this house that has this amazing theater in it, but we can't figure out the sound. We can't figure out the fucking sound on the movie. So we're sitting there and we're like, there's no way we're going to go watch a movie on a little ass TV when we got this theater. What the fuck are we going to do? So we're like, all right, we got it. We're going to put on the closed captions, and me and you are going to play every character and just read them. So we're scrolling and we go, they made a fucking Grease 2? Who the fuck knew that they made a Grease 2?
I did.
And of all movies that you're gonna remake and not tell the world you did, you're gonna take like the best fucking most iconic movie of all time, redo it and put it straight to Netflix and not tell anyone that you did that? We're like, this is fucking insane, bro. Like, so we're sitting there reading the captions of Grease 2 going back and forth. Moving on. We're like, we start making this joke that we're like, we're in the other room from each other. It's 4 a.m. and we're in the other room, and I'm going, gotta see that Grease 2! And we're sitting there for fucking this whole weekend. And then it turns into we're out fucking in Hollywood, out at some fucking restaurant or something. And we're like, hey guys, we gotta get out of here real quick. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And Kel's like, yeah, bro, we gotta go see that Grease 2! And we just started making this running joke. Little did we know that we turned this album into, like, we made Grease 2. It's like a Grease style movie. It's music intertwined with a full-on script. Okay. Kels and Travis. Kels is not the lead actor. There's two incredibly huge fucking people attached to this that are doing their actual acting. So we wrote this script, and man, we shot it. Incredible. We pulled it off. It's a feature. It's the length of a feature. We've been editing 12-hour days for the last 12 days now, giving it our all. But you know, as Kels would say it, this is a first of its kind musical experience.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like a little of like Meatloaf's Bad Outta Hell vibes with the Grease. Now that you say Grease, but I kind of got that Meatloaf Bad Outta Hell like rock opera.
Exactly. It's like, yo, I really feel that you know, I don't think that music is so here today, gone tomorrow, microwave anymore. I think that we need some albums that define at least 5 years of our life, at least 3 to 4 to 5 years of our life, not just 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So I think giving an album all you got is kind of is the way of the future, man. And like that's what that's what particular I've always been wanting to do, is just like, I'm understanding now. I'm 33 years old. I'm understanding. I've come to terms, like, I'm not a young boy no more. You know, I get it. Like, I'm not an old man though.
No.
Okay. I still got plenty of hair on my head. I got thousands of ideas a day. And I've always wanted to change the way that we look at art, the way that we look at the times right now, the way that we look at the history of art, and how to like really like encapsulate the heroes of times. And you know, having someone like Machine Gun Kelly to work with is just one of the biggest honors of my life, because I'm getting a little sentimental. Cause like he like really believes that I'm worthy of a title, like someone that's a visionary, you know? So I really run with that. And yeah, I can't wait for the world to see what we did together.
Yeah, gotta surround yourself with those amazing people. And I think that that's
It does, it tends to be the biggest challenge of your life, is surrounding yourself with the people that really, really love you.
You know, I have to ask, you do, like you said, have such a long career ahead of you. You are not an old man, you have all your hair. You know, looking back, what is one of the most important decisions you feel like you've made in your career or in your life that has made a significant difference in shaping your life right now?
Great question. And I wish I could give you such an artistic answer, but it's truly just putting down drugs and alcohol for me, you know, like that truly was something. I mean, you know, the alcohol was kind of a side effect of the drug abuse. So I don't know if I want to give the alcohol such a bad rap for me in general, but man, the drugs were going to kill me, and the drugs were holding back my shine, and it was dimming my light like so heavily. Changing that, I mean, you can see it in my face. Like, you know, a picture of me 2 years ago to now is just like he changed, you know? This quote like sticks with me so hard, is like, the devil will find work for idle hands, you know?
Mhm.
And I, in the last 2 years, going on 2 years of not doing drugs or drinking, I have filled my time so heavily with falling in love with my art. And again, dude, I'm a Pisces, so I get like sentimental. And like wanting to take care of my family, like my angel of a sister, my angel of a mom, you know, all my friends. Like I have two artists that live with me that like really help take care of me. And like those are things that I never really focused on before. And I think that karma,
Mhm.
speaking of karma, I think it works wonders when you really start living in the present moment as much as possible, and then also just being of service. Like, I'm of service here. I can't stop crying.
Okay. I want to give you a hug. I'm giving you a
Yeah,
full hug.
thank you. I could use that. But yeah, just being of service, you know, trying to, you know, one other thing to lighten the mood. Moving with the sun has really helped me. You know, before in my life, I was moving with the moon. The moon would start to come out, and there comes my sun. And maybe that brought out a little different side of me. I'm a howl at the moon, motherfucker. I'm pretty crazy. I don't need the drugs or alcohol to be crazy. Like,
Right.
so, but moving with the sun, man, waking up, I run 4 miles every day now. Never did that before. You know what I'm saying? Like, never did that stuff. But just moving with the sun. I made this whole album when the sun was out. I was making music at 9 a.m. Like, what the fuck? Never.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I think that's if anyone out there is looking for just any kind of advice beyond the put down the drugs and shit, like, move with the sun. Try moving with the sun.
I love that. I think that that's such incredible advice. And I know that I have some friends struggling right now too. And so I'm going to pass just all of that on.
I love that. I'm giving you a hug back.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, Maud, is there anything else that you want to talk about, put out there, that I didn't ask that you want to promote?
This was great. I think you did a great job, and you pulled out the emotions. We got some
Sorry,
emotions
I
right
totally
there.
didn't mean to. I
No, that's great. That's great. I can't help it. I'll really try. I mean, you know what? Like, I would just like to say, like, yeah, like, so much of my life has been me talking about this grandiose giant picture and all these other things that I do. And I've really decided just at this point, like in this era for me, which starts this week, to really just try to put laser focus on my music and being like a musical artist, you know what I'm saying? Because that's my main vehicle. Yes, I love to write books. Yes, I love to direct. Yes, I love to do all this. But my main vehicle is music. And I'm so, so proud of this shit. Like, I'm not convincing myself that it's going to do well. I'm just like, this is going to do great, man. I just feel good about it. So, new song is coming, followed by an album. And I got to really like, I'm living my dreams, man. So
12-year-old in the front row of Fall Out Boys.
Straight up. That kid is like every day, just like, you motherfucker, you better not take this for granted. I swear he is. Every day he's looking back at me in the mirror like, you better know that you could have gone the total other route, man.
I love it. Up with the sun.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome, Mod. Well, thank you so much. Can't wait to hear everything and see the video and all that is to come for you.
Thank you. This was great. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to hang again someday.
Yes. Bye.
All right. Bye, dog.